I think Colorado State certainly did a great job of creating turnovers. Their defense is a senior veteran defense, and they played like one today. I thought they were more physical than us. I was pleased that in the second half, thought we responded fairly well and came back in and started coming up with some stops on defense. We did generate a touchdown, but it was too little too late. But I want to congratulate Colorado State. This is a long-running rivalry, and we got beat today. So with that, I'll open it up any questions anybody has.
They just got off to another really rough start again. And, was it anything that, your kids didn't expect, or just see as you kind of take the fight to you right away, or what did you?
Well, we needed to establish some drives early, and the other thing was, we had them on a third down and long right at the start, and they were able to, I think they hit a wheel route and stayed on the field. That wore us down. And I think we had either a turnover or went 3 and out or something like that. And to win a game like this, we needed to start fast. And as I said, I thought their defense really played well and took the fight to us.
Coach, what's the overall mood in the locker room after the game, and what did you tell the guys after?
Well, we told them we win as a team and lose as a team. We need to stay unified. We got beat, so there's no two ways about it. I thought our guys stayed in the fight. We need to keep on encouraging one another. If there's pain and disappointment and hurt, that's all part of being a competitor. When you get in games like this and you don't win, it doesn't feel very good. But we'll learn from this and move forward.
Kind of frustrating, too. I know some guys went out. I know Robert and Higgins were kind of jawing there, and then, Robert got a couple penalties there. Starting to see some of the frustration boil over with this team, Coach, with the way things.
Oh, I disagree with that. I think first of all, there were unsportsmanlike conduct penalties both ways, and but I was disappointed how Robert handled that, and so we pulled Robert, and told him how he's got to play within himself. It's a teachable moment for him. I have to recognize, even though he's played a year, he's still a sophomore, and he's out there competing, and he didn't handle it very well. And so we inserted him back in. I thought he played with a lot better composure.
Coach, what did you think of Nick's performance? It just seemed like you guys couldn't sustain a lot through the air in the first half, and see if you capitalized on it.
It was disappointing. I thought they did a great job neutralizing our rushing game, and anytime that occurs, it's much more difficult when you start getting yourself in third down and long. We had a hard time protecting Nick. And then obviously some throws, I think, got a little bit hurried and errant. And so it was just one step after another. But I do think it all started with some things up front. They did a nice job stopping our running game. Brian's been very productive. I don't know how many yards he had today, but it wasn't a lot. And anytime you can become one-dimensional like that, and you've got some inexperienced offensive linemen, that's a recipe for some sacks.
Coach, second year in a row now with just a lot of injuries. How frustrating is it been to deal with?
That's hard, but that's all part of it. The one thing I try not to do is count them up. We're trying to move forward. You talk about frustration. Well, when you're in a competitive game, you are going to get frustrated, and players get frustrated. But yeah, we had a lot of injuries. I mean, I don't know how many guys went down with concussions today, and so we were shifting guys in and out. But I'm sure they had guys go down too. I do think, though, Colorado State was more physical than we were. I mean, they had some guys down, but we had a lot more guys down than what they did. And so I think some of that comes into when you're a fifth-year senior and going up against a younger guy. It's a physical game, and we've got to mature from that.
Was Cam close today, Craig, or was there really no doubt that he wasn't going to play? Or?
No, he was cleared to play, and he went through warm-ups. He had throwing motion. I don't know if he would have had a great deep ball, stick it in there. You and I talked before, but the number of repetitions he had, we were hoping to get him integrated into practice earlier. He did come out there later on in the week, but now he was able to play. But I think we would have had our best shot with Nick.
Even more so just than the guys getting injured this game throughout the year. I mean, those are piling up. How much different is it playing without Cam and Tanner and Chase Appleby, all these guys?
Well, anytime you have some of your starters, you're going to lose something. We appreciate what Nick has done, but when I think there was a time Cam was leading the conference in passing, Tanner was leading the conference in receiving, and Ryan was leading the conference in rushing, I think. And so And when you lose, a couple of your weapons, that certainly hurts, but we appreciate the efforts by our other players. Another question?
What is
Yeah.
the message in the final 3 weeks here? I mean, with such a young team, it's got to be important. Is that the focus? Is it working for next year now?
You know what we have done is, take the next game. And so it's not so much looking into the future next year, it's what do we got to do to get ourselves prepared to play San Diego State. And we've got a responsibility to Eddie Yarborough and OC and a lot of these other seniors to do everything we can to win right now. And so that's what we're going to do. Yes, in the
Coach,
back.
you speak about those seniors putting in the time here in the season. Obviously, it didn't go the way they had hoped. Moving forward, they had CSU to play for, the border war to play for, headed into these final 2 weeks. What's the mood like with those guys that are on their way out?
Well, they have really been an enjoyable group to coach. Certainly today, a guy like Eddie Yarborough, who's from Denver, this was a tough one, and every game is a special game, but this was particularly tough for Eddie, being from the Denver area. Their character and resolve has been outstanding, and we would be surprised if we don't have a good, positive attitude with those guys coming back on Monday.
Craig, would you expect Cam to go next week then, since he was cleared and get some more reps and practices?
Yeah, he and I talked about that before the game, and he felt he had made a lot of progress. And you guys probably saw him in warm-ups. I mean, he was able to throw the football. So he was serviceable today, but the number of repetitions, we looked and said we're probably better off. But I would anticipate that he'll be able to go full speed on Monday.
And then you mentioned the concussions. Do you know who had the concussions?
I know they were examining a lot of people. I know they took Josh Harshman in. I think C.J. Jennings also had one. There were a couple other guys that they were looking at, and maybe we had more than that, but I do know those two were in the locker room. Other questions? Okay, thanks a lot.